Here are some of the daily products you use that may be affected by tariffs. This is a suggestion via Discord. Let's go ahead and jump in this video immediately, guys. Let's see where this takes us.
Introduced by the president
Oh,
include
one
a
ear.
10% universal tariff, as well as reciprocal tariffs on 60 different countries that the U.S. trades with. And
Yes.
these tariffs are additive, meaning that each country has to pay that universal tariff on top of the reciprocal tariffs for each targeted nation. An Ohio-based company has already had to adjust prior to yesterday's announcement. Steelmaker Cleveland Cliffs announced just last week that it was laying off
600
600
layoffs.
workers in Michigan and
Okay.
630 workers in Minnesota in order to mitigate falling demand due to Trump's tariffs previously. Now, what's on most people's minds is what, if anything, will become more expensive in the coming weeks and months as these American companies deal with tariffs and then adjust their prices accordingly. And for reference, Trump added tariffs to imported washing machines during his first term. And what happened with that is that the median price of that appliance jumped more than 11%, adding about $86 to the cost of a new unit. And that's according to research at the University of Chicago. Now, 3 things to pay attention to. Your iPhone and TVs. Almost all iPhones are still manufactured in China, and that's according to the Council of Foreign Relations. Next, automobiles. In addition to President Trump's previously announced 25% tariff on auto imports, imported autos will also face that 10% universal tariff. American consumers could end up paying an additional $2,500 to $5,000 for the lowest cost American.
Okay, guys. So I've definitely heard a couple of numbers here when it comes to, like specifically vehicles. I'm hearing like from what she said here, two to about $4,000 being added on top of your car. I definitely would highly suggest not getting a car if you don't like desperately have to. Try to maintain your vehicle, even though obviously mechanic costs are still going up because they still have to order the parts. You get what I mean here? And labor also is now getting more expensive and things like that. And now in terms of the iPhone, I've heard numbers of about $2,300 for a new iPhone. Bro, don't buy that new iPhone. All right, if that iPhone creeps above, first of all, I remember the first time the iPhone went above $1,000, and I was just like $1,000, right? Like if that iPhone hits 1,500, and I'm still talking crazy because that still sounds ridiculous for a phone. Okay, if that iPhone hits $1,500, make a conscious effort to be like, you know what? I think my old iPhone is perfectly fine, bro. Do not, under any circumstance, buy a phone that costs that much. That's gonna do the same thing your old phone did, bro. And just for the brand new cameras and some AI tech, guys.
An additional $2,500 to $5,000 for the lowest cost American car. And clothing and shoes. A bunch of those items are sold in stores like Walmart and Target, but they're manufactured outside the U.S. with China,
Normally.
Vietnam, and Bangladesh being the biggest exporters. So all 3 nations will face reciprocal tariffs, 34% for China, 46% for Vietnam, and 37% for Bangladesh.
And guys, there are a lot of like naysayers out here. There's a lot of them. There are a lot of people who are like, you know what? We should not be putting tariffs on other countries. Why? Like, if you look at this specific part of the let's say the poster that he held up, right? You'll start to realize that wait a second, Taiwan is charging us 64%, but we're looking at just going straight at them and saying, since you want to charge us 64%, we're going to charge you 32%. 32%. Okay, so we're not even beating them over the head, but even though we kind of should, I'm being honest. Like I think this is so disrespectful. Look at Vietnam, right? Like I think some of these numbers are all of these numbers are so disrespectful, and that for us to say, you know what, we're still going to be kind of the nice guys here, but if you want to specifically charge us extra for very specific items, and we're going to at the very least have to give you something in return, okay? And the 10% is mandatory. Why? Because you've been taking advantage of us. That's a slap on your wrist, bro. Okay, don't worry, bro. You got us for a couple decades. We're done now.
In addition, I talked to Jungle Gyms about any immediate changes they're seeing in our food products.
What is Jungle
The
Gyms?
two that are immediately feeling the squeeze have been our seafood department as well as produce. And that's because on the seafood side, a lot of processing is done outside of the country. And then as far as produce goes, well, we purchase a lot of produce from other countries. So things coming in through Mexico and Canada, things of that nature. And those two departments both gave me the data of a 25% increase that they're seeing in their costs.
If you want your tariff rate to be zero, then you build your product right here in America.
Now, that messaging from the president has remained consistent.
Right.
Other products to pay attention to prices that we could see increase are coffee and chocolate, wine and liquor, and furniture. I'm Cassie Arsenal.
Okay.
That's your consumer.
I mean, yeah, like all of what she said here makes all the sense in the world. All of these things are made outside of the United States of America, a good majority of them. And then to what Trump said, if you want zero tariffs, make them inside of the United States of America. Guys, like go back, a couple of decades, let's say, before a good amount of you guys were alive, or even if you were, let's say, go back to look at Toyota. Like for a while, Toyota was not built here. You know why it was built here? Because we put a tariff on them, okay? And then they started basically building a gigantic amount of Toyotas here to basically avoid having to upcharge everyone. That's it, guys. And I do think a lot of companies are going to have to come and start doing that. Look at Kia in the state of Georgia. Look at Hyundai in the state of Georgia now. Like they are all trying to try their hardest to start manufacturing things in the United States of America to avoid the tariffs. Then that's a good thing. Okay, bring back industry. Because what has been happening over the last multiple decades, guys, look at how China was a couple of decades ago. How about this? Not a couple, like say 5 decades ago. What was China? Look at what China was, and look at what China has become off of our intellectual property. Okay, and destroying our labor and workforce. Look at that. Yeah, we did it to ourselves because, the gigantic corporations basically wanted the cheapest amount of labor they possibly can find. And they found that in China. And what's going to end up happening is it's now starting to actually happen in like West Africa and East Africa, guys. Right. So think about where these places will be in the next 50 years, based off of just, us sending intellectual property over, then them building things with cheaper labor, and then we get the products and then we sell it. And then the gigantic corporations sell it at a gigantic, a profit, and the stockholders are all happy. The shareholders are happy, guys. That's the reality of these situations, guys. We did it to ourselves in certain circumstances, but China was completely fine with all of it, right? So, of course, they came out of what they came out of, let's say. There are still some issues, and I'm definitely happy with what Trump has done, at least, with at least trying to kind of mitigate some of the absolute loss we've been experiencing over these last multiple decades, guys. Right? So I'm down for it. But yes, I'm aware that there are some things that are just going to get more expensive. That just means you need to hold on to some of the things that you already have. Specifically, if they are like gigantic purchases, you may not need that new car, bro. You may not need that new iPhone. You may not need the new phone, period. All right. Regardless of whatever deals that they're trying to offer you for financing, trade your old phone in for this new phone. We'll give it to you for X amount of time so they can basically lock you into a contract and things. Listen, try your hardest, okay, just to keep what you have, maintain it, take care of it, so until we can get through this. All right. That's it. But either way, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly.